Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Sales Chalk Talk Show brought to you by Redcap Sales Coaching. I'm Hugh Little, your sales wizard at Redcap Sales Coaching and Elite Sales Academy, where you can learn to make selling easy, fun, and profitable. If you're a chiropractor, a coach, an HVAC professional, or run any kind of a service oriented business, you can learn how to serve more people and dramatically increase your conversion ratio, sales, and revenue. Stay tuned, and you'll find out how you can take the first step to get started growing your business into the successful enterprise you really want it to be. I'm broadcasting today from Sebring, the very best part of Central Florida. Hey, you're invited to continue making Sales Chalk Talk a part of your learning in 2022 and beyond. Every week, you'll be able to get inside the heads of some of the most brilliant people in the areas of sales, marketing, leadership, business, and success. You can listen to all the past and future Chalk Talks at redcapsalescoaching.com/podcasts, or you can listen on iTunes, and we're just about everywhere else you can listen to podcasts too. On upcoming shows, we'll have a great lineup of guests coming up for you here on Chalk Talk. So stay tuned and learn more and more about how to build your business and your sales. Today, we're most honored to have Jim Cathcart with us. Let me tell you just a little bit about Jim. He's a motivational speaker and prolific author with 24 books published, including his newest 2022 book titled Hi-Rev for Small Business, co-authored with Dennis Madden. Their book is pre-selling right now on Amazon.com for just 99 cents on Kindle, and that offer will last until August 31st of 2022. So act quickly and get your copy right now. Jim has received a ton of awards and recognition through the years for his speaking and writing, yet he's managed to remain one of the truly nice, caring, approachable men in the world. The list of 3,300 companies that have hired Jim to speak for them is the who's who of the corporate world, and the list is longer than my arm, and I've got really long arms. In his personal time, Jim plays rock and roll guitar in clubs, rides his motorcycle on the twistiest roads he can find, and runs the trails near his home at least twice each week. He's a proud parent and grandparent and an active civic leader. Be sure to check out his videos on YouTube. They rock. Jim's website is jimcathcart.com. That's Jim, Cathcart, jimcathcart.com. And we'll tell you what's available to you there just a little later in the show. I think you can tell you're in for another fun, fascinating half hour. So sit down, buckle up, and hold on, folks, because here we go. Hey, Jim, welcome back to Chalk Talk.
It's wonderful to be on Chalk Talk. This is my favorite habit.
You've been here a few times.
So, I have, and I want to keep it going.
Absolutely, anytime. So today we're going to talk about your new book.
Yeah, Hi-Rev for Small Business is a way to run a small business, and selling is certainly a big part of that.
Absolutely. So the first question I got to ask you is, what is Hi-Rev exactly? Is it about auto racing or is it about something else?
Well, the implication of racing is intentional. As a matter of fact, my introduction to the book, I talk about Circuit of the Americas, a Formula One racetrack here in Austin, Texas, but only as a metaphor, because high rev on a racetrack means high revolutions per minute. The engine's going fast. And high rev in a business means high revenue, lots of money coming into the business. And both of those are good analogies because high rev RPMs is operating at a high speed and efficiency where you're bringing everything you've got to the table and your business is doing most of all it's capable of doing. And then high revenue, of course, is in the wisdom with which you run your business and the intentionality and focus of it, that determines the level of revenue flow that you're going to get. And I co-authored the book with a man I respect from the auto service industry, Dennis Madden.
Well, there are two famous Jim Cathcart sayings that I'm going to ask you about. One is success is not normal, and the other one is you're not failing enough yet. Talk about those.
Okay. Well, success, if you think about it, look at the general population, how many people, percentage-wise, of that population are truly successful? Well, it doesn't mean they don't have a good life. I'm just talking about successful, meaning that they are achieving on a regular basis their preferred goals, not getting by default things that are okay, but getting what they want, what they dream of, what they hope for, what they intended to go after. The percentage of the population that's successful typically has been estimated to be about 5%. And regardless what percentage it is, we all know that it's a whole lot less than half. And the people who are successful are the people who have developed the habit patterns that lead to success. For example, on a racetrack, the winner of the race is not usually the fastest car. And people say, well, hold it. That's the whole point of a race, to see which car is the fastest. Well, not really. It's to see which person, which car and driver complete the race first. Well, isn't that fastest? Yes, that's the fastest lap time throughout the race, but no, it's not the fastest speed achieved during the race. There may be one car that can achieve 250 miles an hour, but never does it, or never does it often enough to win the race, and another one that consistently goes at 185 miles an hour every lap, not 1 mile per hour difference on any of the laps. The slower of those two cars is going to win the race because of the consistency with which they perform lap after lap, year after year, sales cycle after sales cycle, season after season. So when you look at your business, whether it's a practice like chiropractic, or whether it's a transmission shop repairing automobiles, there are systems within it that are identifiable and knowable, and you can master those systems and make each one of them more and more effective, just like you make the line through curve 1 and through the hairpin at curve 11 better and better every lap of the race. And it won't matter if somebody has more capacity than you overall, or more natural skill, or a gift for gab, or a great sales ability, or whatever it happens to be, even a better location than you, you can still succeed abundantly by doing the things that winners do. And by the way, they say that only about 48% of businesses survive the first 5 years. And the reason is they're either undercapitalized, or they were trying to turn their hobby into a business, or they really didn't think it through, or they didn't have their systems refined enough to sustain operations. And so some stay in business even longer than 5 years. But the reason they stayed in business is not because they succeeded, Hugh. It's because they didn't fail enough to go out of business. So they don't own the business, they owe the business, and it owns them.
So it doesn't matter if I can go 250 miles an hour if my engine blows up.
Or if your brakes are weak and you have to go slow into each curve to make it through alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, or if your driver gets distracted and focuses too much on winning. See, if your focus is winning, you're not focusing on the right things to cause you to win. There was an Olympic skier in the Paralympics this past season. I've forgotten his name, but we quote him in the book, and he said, if you focus only on winning, you probably won't win. I'm paraphrasing. He said, you need to focus on the things that cause you to win, like what? Like your grip on the ski poles, like your stance going into a turn, like, the way you address the moguls or the ski jump or the whatever it is. There's so many things you can control, but they're not winning. They're the things that add up to winning.
Now, in the first chapter of your book, you list the essential traits of all high-rev businesses.
Mhm.
Review those for us, please.
You bet. Well, first off, all high-rev businesses, all successful businesses for that matter, know what they want. They've got goals in writing that keep them focused. Two, they have a written plan to achieve their goals, not just an intended way of going about it, but a plan in writing. Three, their systems are fine-tuned to reduce waste and optimize output. Four, their policies encourage people to give their best. They have good employee-friendly policies and customer-friendly policies. Five, they value their people, and the way they do their work shows it. Six, their people clearly know what their job is and what their assignments are. Seven, everyone knows why they're doing what they're doing and how it contributes to the overall achievement of the goals. And number eight, they value their customers as people, not just as sources of money. And nine, they keep the metrics that show them when they're getting off track. So they have a dashboard of numbers that tells them when they're getting off the beam and when they're staying on it. So that's how we identify a high-rev business.
So I have a question for you about goals.
Yep.
How important do you think it is, or how valuable do you think it would be to write the goals out fairly quickly every day before you do your daily planning?
That would be a wonderful self-discipline. And a lot of people do that. And I haven't done it in many years, but for the first 5 to 10 years of my business back in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then San Diego, I would go to breakfast alone every morning and sit there with a blank sheet of paper and write my goals at the top of the page and then brainstorm ways I could achieve them. I resisted the temptation to take a stack of work to breakfast with me, because that's just extending my workday. I needed that morning time to get my mind and my heart focused on what mattered the most. But that's a good suggestion, Hugh.
And when you write your goals, you're actually putting everything into play. You're doing something physical, so you're writing, you're seeing what you're writing, and then if you read them out loud to yourself, you're also getting the audio portion of things in. It is pretty
Exactly.
powerful.
And it causes you to think of better and better and better ways to articulate the goal. You know, like, I want to be a successful speaker. Well, that's not a goal, that's a dream. You know, I want to be one of the top 100 speakers in the field of, say, internal medicine. You know, I pulled that one out of the air. You could do that, you know, because it's measurable. What I wrote years ago is, I said, by September 1, 1979, now I wrote this in 1974, and I'm very much aware that many of our listeners were not born when I wrote these goals in 1974, but I wrote, by September 1, 1979, I will be a national expert in the field of personal development. Now, at the time, I was a clerk at the Little Rock, Arkansas Housing Authority, making $500 a month, no college degree, and no skill that was worth paying to hear me talk about it. But 5 years later, I was a full-time speaker and trainer, flying around the country teaching courses on interpersonal communication.
Now, I have another classic Cathcart quote here. Systems are to a business as habits are to a person. How so?
Well, if you think about what a system is, it's a series of steps. It's a process. There's a flow. You do one action, then the next and the next. And if you get it out of sequence, it doesn't work anymore. So it's like driving a car. First, you got to get in the car, right? You can't put that one last. Everything else waits for that one to happen. Same thing's true in business. Now look at the functions of a typical business. And if you think of each one of them as a series of steps that you could turn into a habit and then document that way of doing it and teach it to others so it becomes a system that everybody follows and that everybody's constantly looking to make it better. Here are some of the things you can systematize. Finding new customers, greeting and in processing new customers, assessing customer needs, handling customer complaints or errors that you make, billing procedures and contracts, shipping and receiving, delivering your product or service, new product updates and training, refreshing what you're doing, ordering and stocking supplies, keeping records, reporting, scheduling, handoffs between people or departments, training new personnel or teaching new skills, delivery of what you do, and follow through. All of those are systems, or at least can be systems. And the more systematized they are, the more likely your business is, or your practice is, to thrive.
It's only 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm already tired. Just
Just take one of them.
And I'm guessing that outsourcing a bunch of that stuff is really important.
Well, it is for me because I've got a one-man operation, but I used to have a staff, small staff, 5 to 10 people, depending on what year we're talking about. And I had that team working with me. Now I outsource most of it. But all of those functions have to happen. And they do happen anyway, whether you've got a system for them or not. When you decide to develop a system for each of them, one at a time, then each time you develop that system, you can relax and not fret over that one anymore. It's kind of like if you've got a habit pattern for getting ready for work each day, or a habit pattern for assuring that you do the healthy things first thing in the morning, or a habit pattern for keeping records of the money that came and went through your hands that day. If you just follow that pattern every day, it becomes a habit and you can relax. If you don't have a pattern, a system, then every day you have to worry about it again. And it starts feeling like so much work you can't handle it and you get overwhelmed and burned out.
Now, you are a prolific and highly skilled author. You've written so many tremendous books.
Thank you.
And authors like you don't usually contradict themselves. And so I'm thinking you didn't. We did come across, though, something that is a seeming contradiction. You wrote a book called The Will to Win.
Yep.
And in Hi-Rev, you said the will to win isn't enough. And you also said that a person's commitment to win is the one determining factor in their success.
That's right.
So that seems like a contradiction. Tell us why it's not.
Sure. Well, the way to think about it is this. Everybody has the desire to win or to succeed. You ask people, what do you want? I want to be happy, healthy, and have plenty of money. Well, so does every living being, including one-celled amoebas. Everything wants to be happy, healthy, and have the adequate resources to live the way they want to live. So that's just a natural state of affairs desired by any living creature. So that's not a will, that's not a goal. It's simply an innate desire. Yeah, but I want to be successful. Okay, that's still just a desire. Have you decided to become successful? Well, I'm going to try. Nope, that's not a decision. That's an attempt. That's a test. That's like putting your toe in the water to see if it's a temperature that you're comfortable with. If you're going to get in the water, dive. Don't put your toe in. That's commitment. So when you say, like I said years ago, I will be a national expert in the field of personal development by September 1, 1979. Well, I didn't have any of the skills yet to get there. And so I had to work intensely. I mean, really, really dedicate myself to that goal in order to qualify to make it a reality. I had to learn a lot. I read scores of books, if not hundreds, listened to audio cassettes, went to seminars, talked to leaders and successful people, constantly upgrading and improving myself and the way I did things. And so in 79, once I had achieved that, I set a new goal to be one of the top 10 best known, most admired, and influential people involved in the field of professional speaking and training. Now, that's a very measurable, specific goal. 10 best known, most admired, and influential people involved in this niche of professional speaking and training. Well, I have not always been there, nor am I currently necessarily there. But many, many times throughout my career, I have been among the top 5, among the top 2 or 3, other times somewhere else on the. So it's a fluctuating thing. It's not like a destination, you park your car and you're done. It's a state that you want to achieve and then sustain it as best you can. So now I've delivered 3,300 page speeches, been all over the world, all 50 states as a speaker. I've written 24 books. I've been president of the National Speakers Association. I've received every award that they give to professional speakers worldwide. Wow. I mean, that's huge. How does a person do that? One little piece at a time, never changing course. I've been doing this 46 years, and it took several years to build momentum and get up into the top categories. But when I finally did it, I found that the will to win is a number of different other wills too that add up. The will to prepare, the will to practice again and again, the will to work hard, the will to be open to change, the will to resist temptation, the will to persist when things look bleak, and the will to share the spotlight when you achieve your success. You ever notice that the top Academy Award winners and Grammy winners, when they get the award, they step to the microphone and spend what seems like a half an hour thanking other people?
Yep.
That's because they're sharing their success with the people who helped them earn it.
Mm-hmm. So what's next? I'm guessing maybe your new goal is similar to mine. You want to be a rock and roll star, right?
Oh, good man. Good man. Well, I certainly enjoy that, but I don't think I want the lifestyle that goes with it anymore. I love playing music though, and my wife and I do perform in clubs here around Austin, Texas. But my next goal is, oddly enough, a continuation of my current one. I want to sustain this field of being a mentor, a thought leader in the field of personal development. And I want to do it as a mentor and a guide and a coach to other people. I still enjoy doing keynote speeches. I'm going to do one day after tomorrow for 1,200 people live and 15,000 online at Toastmasters International World Convention. I love that. But I also really want to do a lot more of what I've been doing this past year or two through COVID, and that is coaching people as a mentor, coaching people through the growth process in their own career. I'm working with people who are already successful and they want to kick it up to a higher level. Mm-hmm. I call that going pro. And so I take them through about a 3-month process to get them up to the next level where they can sustain it, and they're making a lot more rev than they were making before.
Folks, we'll be right back with our very special guest, author, speaker, and mentor, Jim Cathcart. We want to encourage you to visit his website at jimcathcart.com. If you enjoy learning by listening, you can take advantage of Jim's extensive array of audio and video learning programs. He's written 24 awesome books, including the Self-Motivation Handbook and his wonderful book, Relationship Selling, The Acorn Principle, The Power Minute, and Intelligent Curiosity. You need to add every one of his books to your library. Especially be sure to pre-order your Kindle copy of Jim's new book, Hi-Rev for Small Business, before August 31st, 2022, and get it for just 99 cents. You can get yours at the link in the show notes. You can order Jim's other books on his website or at Amazon.com. When you get your copies, read them again, then apply them to your business and your life, and then go back to Amazon and write 5-star reviews and let the world know how much Jim has helped you. It's more than obvious that Jim is an incredibly skilled, effective public speaker. So as you're planning your next corporate or association event, contact Jim and arrange for him to speak for you either live or virtually. He can give your team a shot in the arm that will take their performance and your revenues to the next level. So go to Jim's website at jimcathcart.com right after the show, or you can even pause the recording and check it out right now and take advantage of all the good stuff there. I promise you'll be really glad you did. Now, if you leave to look at the website, be sure to come back and listen to the rest of the show, though, because Jim has some more great stuff for you. Well, we're back with our very special guest, Jim Cathcart. Jim's website is jimcathcart.com. So, as the old commercial once said, this is where the rubber meets the road.
Mm-hmm.
For someone to go from normal operations to Hi-Rev, what's the process?
Process first is to determine where you're headed. You know, if you don't know which racetrack you're racing on, you may end up with a Formula One car on a NASCAR track, or a NASCAR on a dirt track, or a motorcycle on a Formula One track. You know, first you've got to choose your avenue. Where you going to be? In other words, what field are you going into, and where do you want to go? And then second, start looking at all those elements I was mentioning that cause you to be Hi-Rev. Get a copy of this book, which is obviously available but in Kindle, or you can get it for during the promotion period for just 99 cents on Amazon. But it'll be available August 31 in print version. So get the book in whatever form makes sense to you. Read through it and start applying these things to your own. And then if you need some guidance through that, give me a call or call my co-author, Dennis Madden. We'd be happy to help.
How long does the special last, the 99-cent special?
It's from August 15th through August 31st, 2022.
Well, Jim, it's, as always, so awesome having you with me here on Chalk Talk. And before I let you go, as you well know, I have one more question for you. It's one that we ask on every show, and it's based on another one of my favorite books, The One Thing by Gary Keller of Keller Williams Real Estate.
There you go.
If you could give our listeners just one piece of advice that you consider to be the most important in gaining success in their businesses, their sales, their relationships, their lives, what's the one thing, Jim?
I would tell everybody, as I've often said before, the one thing, if that's all you could do, would be every single day, ask yourself, how would the person I'd like to be, how would the person I intend to become do the things I'm about to do? When you do that, you will upgrade every day some aspect of what you do, and the person you intend to become will become the person you actually are.
Well, folks, here at Sales Chalk Talk, we believe in taking action. So go to Jim's website at jimcathcart.com. Check out all the great resources. Get your copy of Jim's tremendous books on the site or at Amazon.com. Be sure to pre-order your Kindle copy of Hi-Rev for Small Business before August 31st, 2022, and get it for just 99 cents. You can click the link in the show notes and it'll take you right to the page to order the book. Book Jim to speak at your next in-person or virtual event. Take massive action. Don't procrastinate. Do it now. Go to Jim's website at jimcathcart.com right now, and I promise you'll be really glad you did. I also promised to give you some information about how to increase your business and sales. So here it is. If you'd like to start scaling your sales and revenue, you can have a free conversation with me and receive your individualized sales success roadmap. Just go to redcapsalescoaching.com and you'll find a link on every page that will take you to my calendar where you can schedule your session. You'll also find a ton of information at redcapsalescoaching.com that will help you tremendously in increasing your sales. Jim, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and share all this great stuff with me and with our audience. Come back and talk with us again soon.
Thank you.
Well, folks, that's about it for today's Sales Chalk Talk. We'll be back soon with another awesome Chalk Talk. We hope you'll join us then. Until then, make it fun and make it profitable. So long, Jim. So long, everybody. And good selling.